Hey everybody, welcome back to day 2 of Bootcamp. My name is Emily Poulin and I am a graphic designer in Southern California. This week on Bootcamp, we are making a campaign for a local monument, a national park poster for a local monument. Riverside has a mountain called Mount Rubidoux, and we made a poster yesterday, and then today we are going to be doing the social media campaign for that. And then the rest of the week, we're going to be building that out as a mailer and as a parking pass, and then as an email campaign. So I'm an in-house brand designer for a couple companies, and this is kind of what my day-to-day looks like. It's a lot of jumping between programs and applications of what does the product look like? How are we telling people about the product, multi-channel and things like that. And so this is kind of an overview of how I work through programs, but this is like more of a fun application. So let's recap what we did yesterday. Let's see if my screen will go. Okay, so this is our inspiration that we were pulling from for the poster. If you've seen these before, maybe you've been out and about and got one as a postcard, or maybe someone who cares about you a lot sent you one from their vacation. So this is kind of the inspiration we were pulling from. And then we went through Adobe fonts to find the right font for it. We went through Adobe Color to find color samples for that. And then we pulled from stock as well to get some inspiration photos and references going on. So before we jump into the design from yesterday, I just want to say jump into chat if you are here. It's just me talking this whole time. So if you want to jump in and chat, I see everyone joining. Valentina, Andy, Robert, everyone's here. Oh, yes, we like the calendars. Oh, thank you. I don't even think you can see those yet on the stream, but yeah, there's all my calendars. Yeah, jump into chat and we will all hang out. If you have any questions, I'll do my best. People told me yesterday they were in the chat and I did not notice them, so I do apologize, but I'm very glad you're here and I'm going to try better today to balance the two. Okay, so let's pull over then to Illustrator where we were kind of living. Sorry, I have two screens here and it jumped over to my other screen. Okay, so this is where we left off yesterday. Actually, it's not quite where we left off. I did some little TV magic while we were out and about to kind of get this more in a place where I was happy with it. I think in a live stream, there's a lot going on there. And so it was helpful for me to have some time afterward to be like, okay, how do I want these colors to look? And how do we feel about all of this? So this is where, this is the artwork that we're going to be working with now. Again, it's in that like style that we were looking at. And then, so these were the colors also I was playing with yesterday. And I felt like these were looking like a heat map, you know, when you do like the temperature gun or something and see like how hot something looks, which I feel like is actually accurate to Mount Rubidoux. But in order to make this more of like a wish you were here type vibe, I decided to go with a little more like gentle springtime color situation here. Very green, very lush. It only looks like this part of the year, but that's gonna be the postcard moment. So I'm just going to recap too of how to recolor something, just because we touched on that yesterday, but I feel like it's a very helpful feature, especially when you have a lot of layers going on like this and a lot of different details. One way you could do this, which is helpful if you have like a small thing to work on, would be to like, here, let's go into these are like a group pattern. So like say I have like this color and I want to recolor like all of these, right? Instead of individually like clicking all of them, what you can do is click on it. You can go select same, and then do appearance. And then it's going to select the ones that are the same color. So here I'll like move them so you can see, wow, look at that. And that just saves you a lot of time. And then you could use the eyedropper tool, click eye, recolor like that, or you could come here and like recolor it there. So that's a really good option. But another version of that is going to be using Adobe Color. So hold on, my Zoom thing moved up here. So if you grab a color from here, so say we're gonna use this for example, you would download the ASE file. That's gonna go like that. Then we're gonna come into Illustrator. We're going to swatches. And then down here, there's like the little library. So we're gonna add that to our library. It's just sitting in our downloads right now. So it would be pulling in like this one and click open. And then it's gonna open up here. Yesterday, I got a little lost. I didn't know that they populate up here. So that's kind of where they live. And then you can click on it and the little flyout panel will show you like which one you have if you have multiple. So let's recolor this artwork. So say your client, you showed this to your client, they're like, wow, I love it, but these colors just like aren't right. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's like so much to redo it. So you would highlight all of them like this, and then you would go to edit, edit colors, recolor artwork. And then I just learned this also, which is kind of cool. Let me show you this feature. There's a lot of things you can do with recolor, which is amazing. You can grab this slider and this is going to change like the amount of how much that color is showing up here, right? So this is not recoloring yet. It's just reworking what we already have. So I'm like, hey, I really like that orange, or like maybe the orange is too much and we want more of the pink color. You could like pull this over and we're gonna get more of that saturation in here. So that way you could do it, and you can also move this around and that's gonna do some crazy things. But we already have our palette. So we're gonna come in here and click advanced options, and then we're gonna come down here, and then we're gonna find the one. So I like this one that I was looking at. I think it was Purple Dusk Disruption, a very exciting name here. And if we click that, it's gonna pull in colors here. So it looks like it's only pulling a couple though, which is interesting. So let's shuffle these. So these buttons at the bottom are gonna shuffle them in like order. But this seems to be just using the blues, which is interesting. So we can go ahead even come in here and then choose like, okay, let's do that one. Oop, press OK, that helps. And that's gonna pull in that color. So let's do that. See how it's like showing up in there. So I'm just like picking these randomly because I don't actually know which one is which. But that would be an example of that. And then now that they're in there, I think we could just press shuffle and they would change that around. So this isn't like the best example, but this is just a quick show of how to do that. So let's do it again, but like with a different one and see if it looks any better. So we're gonna do edit colors, recolor artwork, advanced options, and then this is where your libraries live. So let's choose a different one. Let's try Purple Sunset 2. Okay, that's fun. And we'll go and switch those around again. And then this one really shuffles them around, which is just getting really red. So anyhow, that's like a way that you can go ahead and pull that in without having to do it as manually as before, and then just kind of refine it for how you want. So just want to highlight that again as you're going, wow, look at that. Some real options here. And that would be how I would like go ahead and recolor artwork with those. So I'm gonna undo that because it got a little bit crazy and keep our little heat map version just because it's kind of fun. But that would be that version of that. Okay, so let's get into making social media for this. So let me also walk through this of what I added yesterday while we were off screen here. I added a little bit of text at the top to be really on brand with what we were seeing here. I noticed that they had this little like buffalo seal, and I wanted that to be something that we made personal for us. So there's this symbol in Riverside called the Rain Cross. I took a tour of the Mission Inn recently with my dad. The Mission Inn is like a local hotel, but it's also like a national, or maybe not national, but it's a really famous landmark that everyone goes to. Like presidents have stayed there and famous people, and it's very to do of Riverside. But this is the symbol that they created, and it has something to do with the dragonfly. I remember them saying with these two little lines that the dragonflies, I think, come to the Santa Ana River at a certain time of year, and so that's part of it. And then the bell, I think, had to do with the local monasteries, I want to say. But anyhow, this is like a really beloved symbol of Riverside, so it's everywhere. So I pulled that in while we were away yesterday. And then a lot of them say National Park Services, but since this is not real, this is a nice dupe. I did local National Park Services. So just some little copy here to make it look a little more like the other ones, but also match the aesthetic. So then these are the colors. I did a little bit of type modification, which I can show you guys too for social media today. And then I added the white border because that's something that we are really seeing here. And I feel like that really sells it. I think it looks good. It looks fun. This is gonna be a lot of fun to build the social media for. And then I also pulled out the color palette here just for easy reference, but I also did put it in my swatches panel down here for easy reference. And as we go across platforms, it should be there. So if you guys have any ideas for what we want to use as like social media campaign language, let me know. I was just messing around with some ideas. I mean, Wish You Were Here is an obvious one. Let's Take a Hike, I think could be cute. But if you have any fun ideas, jump in chat and let me know, because yeah, more the merrier. It's very helpful. And then I pulled in some other information too that I think could be helpful. So as I go into like making social media graphics for a client, what I would say is let's ask like, what are the goals of this? Like, what's the information you want to put forward? So for us, we're going to be making that up, right? But if this was a product, you know, like what are the selling points? Like what are the features that are really important? Do you have campaign messaging that has to be on there? And keeping in things like that in mind are really helpful as you try and figure out like, where's this going to look, or where's this going to live, and what's this going to look like? I think that's a really important part to nail down. So we're going to develop this as we go, but that's kind of the language we're going to be working with right now. And then also there's some symbols that we might be pulling in. So the orange is also very iconic for Riverside. Here's like a little slice version of it too. I was thinking of maybe putting them here. I don't know if it's like too much. I've seen it on some places, but I don't know if it's too much. So I'm gonna put that there for now, maybe, but that's also an option that we're gonna be playing with. So that's our recap of our poster. The first one that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like really advertise our poster here. So like, so let's say that for the city that they wanna announce like, hey, we made these posters and they're gonna be available online or something. So I'm gonna take this artwork and I'm gonna go ahead and export this as, it doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna do it as a PNG for now, because it's usually quicker. And I'm just gonna put it in here and I'm gonna say like version 1. And then I'm going to double check my artboard and see right here it says artboard 3. So we're going to make sure that artboard 3 is the one that gets exported, not everything. Export. Let's do, well, it's for screen, so I think 150 will be fine, but let's do 300 just for the heck of it. So we'll export that. And then I pulled a stock template from Adobe stock right here. This is the one that I'm going to be using to make this look like a poster. I think there's something special about it looking like it's already printed that makes it just a little bit more exciting. So I downloaded that and then I pulled that into Photoshop. One thing to note is that this is a template. And so the ending is a little bit different right here. And so if you go and try to open this like this, it's going to say like, oh, I can't do that. So you're going to have to go ahead and open Photoshop and then you go File, Open. And then you would just go ahead and select that, and then it should just open for you like that. So if you had any questions, because I know it's a little bit interesting at first. Okay, so we're gonna go and use the smart object here. So we're gonna double click here. That little icon right here means it's a smart object. If you hover, I believe it'll tell you that. It might not. You just have to know in your heart that this is a smart object. So you double click that, and then this is gonna give you the layer where you're gonna put your artwork. I actually did not check our sizing, so our sizing might be different. Yeah, it looks like it is. Oops. Hold on. Well, that's fine. So we're going to scale this up by just dragging the corners. And so if you find yourself in a situation like this, you think, I should have checked my sizing to begin with. So we could resize this in Illustrator, or let's just add like a little bar at the bottom maybe. So I'm going to add just a rectangle here. I'm going to use the eyedropper tool to sample this color right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and drag a rectangle at the bottom here to just kind of fill in this space. And maybe we just make this, maybe it should be like that darker green so it's less distracting. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool again to get this into my swatches panel. I'm going to click this, I'm going to press A, and I'm going to go up here to my fills, and then this is the one that I just sampled. And that's a little dark. Maybe we keep it light. Let's do the dark. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then maybe we're just going to add that coordination, or the coordinates, I guess. Maybe that'll be something fun to like fill in there. So I'm going to copy this. So you can definitely set your type in Photoshop. I don't like doing it as much. I prefer, which this probably is like a weird workflow to use, but I prefer to bring it in from Illustrator. So I'm going to go ahead and outline this type, which I don't think you have to bring into Illustrator. And then I'm just going to paste it in here and use that as a layer to drag down here. Oops, I think that got stretched a little bit. Oh, maybe not. Okay, I like that. But maybe let's add that second one too. Oops, let's not do that. Okay, let's put this as 2 lines here, and then the elevation. So just like some little like sub copy, I think will make it look a little more interesting. Gonna copy that color, outline it. How's everyone doing in chat today? Is everyone having a nice Wednesday, a little midweek here? I also don't think I said this in the intro, or actually I think I did, but yeah, we'll be doing this again tomorrow, 9 to 10, and then on Friday as well, 9 to 10. If you want to jump back in and join us to see this. Okay, so just centering that up. Okay, it might be a little bit too big, might be like a little distracting, which we don't want, but that's not really the point of this one. I'm just gonna scale it like that, and then I'm gonna use the align tool to make sure that this is aligned correctly. There you go. So the align tool's up here, and I'm gonna make sure it's aligning to the canvas. Yay. Okay, great. And tab this down a little bit. Hey, Cody say they're doing great. I'm glad to hear it. All right. The question is, would you be doing better if you were hiking Mount Rubidoux? Maybe. Wow, this is turning out really dark because of the shadows that are on this. So I'm gonna turn off the background because I'm gonna be pulling this back into Illustrator. Let's see. So that's just the shadow behind. So sometimes if I'm seeing something on the mockup, because they're made to be, you know, lifelike or something, they can have pretty crazy layers on them that make them look a little bit like darker. So sometimes I like to go in and like change these. So I apologize if someone made this and I'm like adjusting it, but I feel like it's more important to make sure that your poster is displaying kind of how you want. It looks like it's not gonna be super easy. Let's see if we can change the blending mode. No, that might be kind of crazy. Yeah, okay. Sounds like we're gonna keep it like that, but you can always adjust this. And then if we were actually doing this for a client, I would definitely go back in and change these colors so they look a little bit cleaner and a little bit easier to use, but we're gonna do this for now. So I turned off the background, so this is gonna be a transparent PNG, and I'm gonna pull this back into Illustrator. So we're gonna go to quick export PNG, and then I'm gonna leave it in here, and I'm gonna put this as like poster mockup. Great. Okay, so that's gonna save that. So since we're going to be doing social media, the correct thing to do would be definitely to open a new new artboard for this. So I'm gonna do new, and then I'm gonna make sure this is in pixels now. And I'm gonna do Mount Rubidoux. Ooh, it's not a day if I'm not making typos. Rubidoux National Park Social. And then I'm gonna do this for a 1080 by 1350, which is the Instagram, like the biggest Instagram feed picture you can do. And then since this is for digital, I'm gonna be doing RGB. You could change the PPI of this, but I like to keep it at the highest just because that way, if we decide like, hey, we do want this for print or something, it's just available and you can always export at a lower resolution. Okay, so here's that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull in these colors since I already just have them out here. And they should have loaded in my swatch panel, but sometimes I like to have them here just because I use the eyedropper tool a lot, just as a quick shortcut. So I usually do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag a shape here to be my background. And so I'm gonna drag it to be the size of my artboard. I'm gonna use the eyedropper tool, right, like that, click it, and just sample from here so I can make this like any color that you wanted. And I also think that I'm gonna pull in the cloud texture. I think that'd be kind of fun. So I'm gonna pull that in. I think on the other one, then I have this as the darker blue, so let's do that. Love this texture we're getting, very fun. And if you were here yesterday, I actually pulled this in from the images we were using. So I think I used this image. We put it in Photoshop and we used the contrast and the gradient map in order to get this like really crunchy. And so we could be, sorry, I just saw a chat says we're gonna be doing a TikTok dance. Yes, we'll be doing a TikTok dance for Mount Rubidoux. We will accept your submissions. So yeah, we pulled that into Photoshop. And then we, adjusted the contrast. Let me see if I have a draft of that. Yes, so it looks something like this. And then we live traced it in Illustrator, and that's how we got the clouds that we have today. Love that, right? Okay, so there's that. And then we're gonna pull in that poster. So these are some of the other posters. This is where we ended up yesterday if you want to see where we were at. And these colors just weren't it. So I spent some time yesterday finding new colors for us. Okay, grabbing the poster. Here she is, dropping it in. Oh wait, that's our actual poster, not our mock-up. Okay, here's our mock-up. Just so lifelike. Okay, and we're gonna scale this down. I hold shift in Illustrator so that it constrains your proportions. So let me show you if you don't hold shift, it can get scaled interestingly, and we don't wanna do that. So you're gonna grab the corner, hold shift, and you're gonna scale it down this way. And then we're gonna drop it right on here. Okay, so since it has those shadows and things happening here, that's why the colors are looking a little bit like crazy. So I don't know if I actually love how this is looking, but this is definitely something that I do a lot. I think it's really fun. If you don't have the option of like printing and taking a photo of the design, this is definitely something that like makes it feel just more real and more tangible, I think. And I think that really helps in marketing. So that's why I really like mockups, so you don't have to go ahead and like make the product and print the product and take good photos of it. And I'm not a photographer, so that just is like a whole nother layer of things you have to do. So that's kind of why I like this. And you can make it, you could tile these if you wanted. Like you could be like, we got posters, everyone. Look at this. The more the merrier, right? Okay, so something like that maybe. That's pretty crazy though. Let's not do that in goal. Let's do something like this. Love that. And then let's go ahead and grab our typefaces from yesterday. So this is live type, and then we'll grab this as well. And we'll pull in our messaging over here too. You're getting the real behind the scenes here. Usually I would pull from like a Google Doc or like whatever kind of information the client has sent me. And then it usually gets pretty crazy in the artboard looking like this. So like, I feel like this is the view people normally get. It's just the art, but there's always like crazy stuff happening off of the artboard. So let's do that. And then let's put, you know, our little type down here, and we'll say like posters or like new posters. And this would be the launch of our posters here. I think it looks fine in white with the contrast, but maybe we do it in yellow. And then we could do something like this. That's going to be like, grab yours today at a local vendor. So we'll really get people going to those local shops. We would love that. Okay, and then I'm going to make this white. So I'm going to come over here, make sure my text is highlighted, click here, and do that. One thing, actually, this isn't the best thing. So I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna come highlight it, press Control copy it, delete this, and then I'm gonna set this as a text box so I can rescale this easier. I feel like as I'm working, I tend to like type it out like that and then regret it later on. So when you put it in a type box, and you can scale it, and that definitely is helpful as you're working. If you need to like change like between sizes or things like that, it just reflows your text for you. It's probably the better way of doing typesetting. Okay. So here's like a little example then of like if we're doing the poster, but we can also do it without the Photoshop if that seems like too much work, or if that seems like you don't really like the color, how that turned out. So let's grab this again and drag it over here. And let's do that just actually with our, the version we exported, just so you could see the side by side of how that would look. So here's this one. So it's much more flat, but the colors do look a lot nicer. So maybe we like that. I don't know. And because the sky is like sky on sky, that looks a little bit crazy to me. So maybe let's change this to like degree. Oh yeah, that is great. We love that. So this is definitely more flat, but I think there's something fun to that. You could scale this however you want. And then if you wanted to add like a drop shadow to it to kind of get this like depth effect, you could do that. So let's do that. Let's go with the object highlighted, effect, stylize, drop shadow. And this is kind of where you can play around with like how big you want your drop shadow to be, how dark you want it to be. I think 45 is a little bit strong. I usually am like at the 15-25 range. You could change the color of it as well. So maybe you wanted to do like the green, so it's a little more like subtle. I usually leave it on the black just because that's easier. I'm gonna do 35. I think that looks nice. Yeah. Blur, offset. So offset is gonna be like how close it is to this side and then also to the bottom side, right? On which side it's gonna be. If you change that, it could also go to the other side as well. But I think that looks good. And then you can uncheck this for preview, no preview, etc. So as you can see, like there's depth to it, but it's not quite the same as like this one. And this one has a nice crease lines to it. Like it's been folded and shared and all that kind of stuff. But so that would be kind of how that would look. And then maybe let's change like our type up a little bit. Day 2, let's go. Hey, David, how's it going? We're making posters. We're actually, sorry, we're not making posters. We're making social media about our posters so everyone will buy them. David's also an amazing designer. He made this really cool shirt actually recently that we wear all the time around here. And it's a little bit Riverside, or I guess it's Redlands themed, but it's very fun. Okay, new posters. Let's do get yours today or something. Ooh, get yours today. And then let's see if the yellow looks good. Not terrible. Let's do the black. Let's just do a little more contrast there. Okay. And then we're going to do some type effects here. So on the poster from yesterday, see how this like raises a little bit? These are like some of the type effects that you can do. I'm going to pull this in. I like this too. So you're going to highlight this and then you're going to go to effect and you're going to warp. And then you got a lot of options here. So we'll go through a few of them. That's pretty crazy. So you can choose a bunch of different styles and then you can move these around like this. It depends definitely on your application and how you want it to look. And also like, I always think that legibility is more important than like text warping and stuff like that. I can see a lot of type sometimes that gets pretty crazy. I'm like, wow, yes, we definitely use the type tool, but like, can we still read what's happening there? I think that should always be the goal. But there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do here. So let's keep it at 0 just so you can see like the truest version of this. So here would be like an upward arc. That's kind of fun, but that gets a little bit crazy on 2 lines. Like I might not do that one. But you can also do something fun, like invert with this. I actually do it on this one, I think. So yeah, this is kind of where it's getting like, it feels like an old like vintage like PE shirt. I feel like kind of uses this vibe where it's like flat across the top, but then the arch is underneath of it. But I used rise on the other one, so let's do that. But I used a positive one, so let's get it going in that direction. And then something about this, so it kind of gives, if you look at the icon here, it's kind of small, but it kind of looks like ribbon candy or something where it's like, or like flagging a little bit versus just like on a straight line. And you could do the straight line manually. I can show you how to do that too. But this kind of gives you like a nice little warp to it and it's easy to adjust. So let's do that. And then I'm going to bring the lines closer together by using the character panel. So I'm going to bring these closer. So that way it just like takes up less room. But maybe we do it only on one line. Let's see. Oops. Today. Let's see if that fits better. It's hard. These are definitely a smaller space, but when you think about this is on Instagram on someone's phone, it's okay if it's a little bit smaller, I think, because you have like, you're much more closer to the person and they're going to spend a lot more time looking at it. So maybe it's okay if it's smaller, but maybe let's keep on 2. Get yours today. Yay. Okay. Maybe I liked it in white. Did we like it better in white? Let's see. Yeah, I think we're going to do white. I like that. Okay. Let's do that. And then maybe let's make this smaller. Since again, it's on social media, people will be able to see it. You can zoom in if they want to. And let's add this little guy to the bottom. I kind of like this. It feels very official. Okay, let's make this white as well. And then this, I still have, this is a group, so let me ungroup this. I still have this as a live path. So when you scale this, with my settings at least, it's gonna like change like how thick, if you see how thick this line is, it's changing a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and expand this. Let me take it down 1 just because it feels a little heavy. And then I'm gonna go highlight both and go object expand, expand appearance. I don't know why I can't talk this way. Expand again, and then that's gonna say fill and stroke, and I'm gonna do that. And so that's gonna make it into a shape. And then I'm gonna make sure these are aligned correctly with my line panel. Ooh. And then there she is. Okay, and so now I can use this as a shape and use the eyedropper tool. So I can click here. Now it's all white. That looks nice. Let's center these as well. And let's group these again. So that way I can align this to the artboard itself. And that way it will be all lined up. Okay, cute. Maybe that's a little big. Let's make it smaller. Maybe the bell, the Riverside bell, she's too big. Let's size her down a little bit. And again, that would be okay for the size. I think on the poster itself, it's great, but you don't want it to ever be distracting from the product that you are working with, right? And so if I feel like it's taking the visual like idea, like if I'm just like, I only read this and look down here, we don't want to be doing that. So that's why I was going to make that smaller. Maybe we'll make this like a little that way. No, too many angles happening here. Since this is angled, I think that's a little bit too much. Let's do that. Okay. Fun. So this would be, I would say, how to give, a little bit of life to our poster until it's like printed and posted around town. I think we should do it this way. And this will be really helpful too, as we go into the email campaign. I could see this working really well in the email alongside, our t-shirt mock-up or any other merch that we're doing. I think this would look really great. So let's start there. And now let's go into like, if we were launching this national park for Mount Rubidoux, we probably need more pictures, right? Or like more content about Mount Rubidoux to just post. So we can't just post our poster all day, even though it's great. We're gonna have to do more than that. So let's go ahead and pull in a photo maybe of Mount Rubidoux. So I usually like to, let me name these two. Let's do two posters. And then I always like to put the sizing in here. So again, if you pass these off to a client, one poster, they know exactly what they're getting and they don't have to ask you. And that just helps them work easier on their side. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna keep this size, we'll keep the background. I think that works well. And let's pull on a photo of Mount Rubidoux. So I grabbed all these from Adobe stock. Let's get a different angle. I think that'll be something nice. A little evening moment here. Okay, maybe let's do this one. And originally I was thinking about using this image for our like hero image for our poster, but the only thing is that this is not as recognizable unless you've hiked it a lot, and there's only a certain path that you take up that you'll see this. It's still definitely iconic, but it's not like, you can't see this. So with the cross, you can see this like all around the city every time you drive by. And so that's kind of how we chose like what the hero image was going to be. So maybe we'll do it like this. Maybe this looks like a little bit of a Polaroid. I think that could be cute. Actually, let's do a Polaroid. That's a really fun idea. So I'm gonna turn this white to match this. And I'm gonna shrink this down. So I highlighted both and I hold Option Shift to drag towards the center. And I'm gonna copy this and hold Option Shift again. If you see how I have like the white arrow key and the black arrow key, that's because we're duplicating what's happening here. So I'm gonna drag that over and I'm gonna send this to back. So I'm gonna click on it, I'm gonna go Arrange, send it back. There's like that. Oh my gosh, this is cute. Okay. And then we're gonna do, I'll just type it out. I'll say, wish you were here. Maybe this is still for like our visitor campaign or something like that. Then maybe let's make this a script. So I'm gonna go in my type panel here. I'm gonna use the filters and just see what scripts I have going on here, which it says no, oh, it says no results found because I was looking for a specific name. And that one is not a script. Let me move this down. Okay, let's see. Why is it not showing me any scripts? It would appear it thinks I have no scripts. But I do. Okay, there they are. Love that. Let's see. I have a love-hate with like script typefaces or cursive typefaces. I think a lot of them get pretty crazy and like are really like, this has a really big difference in the letters, and I think it gets kind of hard to read. So maybe we'll keep it. Also, who writes in cursive? I don't know why I'm so set on doing a cursive. And then this is all uppercase. So let's make sure this is lowercase by clicking here. This is going to be like if my mom went to Mount Rubidoux, she would definitely send me in cursive a wish you were here. Or maybe we do like a felt tip pen. Maybe that would be like a little more accurate. Let's do something like that. And then let's add our little Mount Rubidoux. I'm gonna grab this lettering here. We'll make this like a little branded postcard, so it's like still giving us some publicity here. I'm gonna group those. Or maybe it sits down here. Maybe it's like I really gave them no room on the Polaroid. I'm not mad. Okay, and then let's do a type effect on this too. Let's do flag. I think that would be cute and kind of really talented handwriting if you can write that without any guide. Okay, I'm gonna turn this white. I think that looked better right there. Oh, using the eyedropper tool again to grab that. Wish you were here. Maybe we make this a little bit longer since we're not doing a whole lot of copy down there. So this is a I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. Sorry, this is a clipping mask that I did. So how you make a clipping mask is you do a shape over something, it's clear right now, it's here. You do a shape over an image, right? So here's my image. And then if you want to clip it in, you're going to click both of these together. So yeah, they're both highlighted, right click it, and then make clipping mask. And so whatever's on top is going to cut out whatever's underneath it. And so that gives you just like clarity on whatever top object you have, or if you want to shrink something down without cropping it in a different program, this kind of gives you that little shortcut. So let's do something like that. I think that's cute. I don't know, what else does this need? Maybe we'll change the background of this one. Oh, that was too bright. We're not trying to hurt anyone's eyes here on Instagram. Okay, we'll do like that. And then we do like a little Polaroid. Man, are we gonna do 2 Polaroids like our first poster? Maybe we will. I think that'd be kind of cute. Let's do it. So I'm gonna copy this, so again, holding Option Shift and drag it over here. And then I'm gonna release, or actually I'm gonna grab this whole thing and go to Properties and straighten this back out so I can place a new image and it won't be too crazy. So we're gonna click on this image, I'm gonna right click, release clipping mask. I'm gonna delete the photo, and then I'm gonna add another photo. So let's grab a different scene. Another, I feel like this is like the same kind of like, maybe not same time of day, but close enough. So I'm gonna grab this, and then I'm gonna click both of these and send to back so that this shape is on the top again. Whoop. So here's my shape. I'm gonna color it so you can see it again. So this is a shape that we had going here. So just to keep it the same size, that's how I would do it. So I'm gonna click on both of these again, make clipping mask, love that. And then this one will be like sunset hike, I can't spell, sunset hike at Mount Ruby Doe. Okay. So one thing when you warp type is the more lines you add to it, I think it gets just a little bit more exaggerated. And sometimes I don't like how that looks, or I want to like pull it back a little bit. So when you click on the type, you can come here to your appearance panel, and then you can double click on the effect that you have going on and be able to change it there. So I'm gonna just pull this back a little bit. Yeah. Just want to make sure, again, especially if you're using script typeface, I think it's a lot harder to read in general. So just make sure. And then I'm going to go ahead and outline this so that way when I'm going to expand this. So when I rotate it, it doesn't get more exaggerated, because that can happen. Okay, I'm loving that. That's cute. Our little branded moment here, our little branded Polaroids. Polaroids have really had their moment, but they've kept their moment and we love it. Okay, I'm going to layer this on top. Cute. Oops, I did not group that one. So let's go ahead and group that. So I'm going to highlight these. Deselect the background and then group these guys. Yay. Okay, cute. Make these a little bit smaller. Oop. It's all about the layers here. I also don't work really well in layers. Like there's a correct way to be doing these, like building this out on different layers, and I kind of just throw them all together and click through. I'm going to add a drop shadow on these too. So I'm going to click into this group and I'm going to click just on the white background to add the shadow to that. So let's do stylize, drop shadow. And it keeps the same, while you're working the same artboard, it like keeps the same preferences from the last time. So let's do that just so these all stay the same. Effect, stylize, drop shadow. Andy says it's epic. Polaroids are epic. We agree. Okay, cool. Let's do that. And then let's add the rain cross over there. I feel like that is definitely something there. I'm dying. All these Taylor Swift references. You guys know me too well. Okay, let's add this in the corner. I feel like that gives it like the official Riverside little stamp here. And then, I don't know, this is feeling a little empty up here. So maybe we move these together and then we'll add our Mount Rubidoux. Where did I put it? I don't know where I put it. We're gonna pull it in from over here. Come back. Oh, I put it on the image. Oh, okay. Mount Rubidoux, loving that. I feel like that's working for us here. And maybe we'll make that in white. I feel like I tend more towards like really simple colors, especially for social media, which maybe is your time to actually use more colors. I don't know. Or maybe let's make this darker so it's not as the same like visual weight as this white. Let's do it in this darker green. And maybe let's make it as like a little stamp, like, okay, yeah, we're getting somewhere. Everything is at an angle on this, which I don't know if it's too much. Do we think it's too much that everything's like tilted? Okay, maybe let's pull this back a little bit. So I'm just going to drop the opacity a little bit again, so it's not competing for that, you know, first visual hierarchy look. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. All right, let's align to artboard. Let's make sure it's centered. There's that. Okay. Yeah, that's cute. I like that. Or I could also see this living up here kind of well, like a little like, and maybe like send it to the back. Let's see. Anyone have a hard preference on this? I can't decide. I think it's cute either way. We'll do this now and then drop in the chat and tell me which one we like. Okay. I'm gonna pull this up a little bit. Love it. Okay, great. So now we got our original poster stuff. We're loving that. We have some actual photos of it, but we're still keeping in the campaign branding. So I think it'll be like really recognizable. Maybe even, let's add this. So because this is going to be on social media, I don't necessarily feel like adding the location is like the most helpful because, right, you already have that capability in Instagram, right, to like location tag and things like that. So that's something I would keep in mind as you're designing, like what's the most important information. And I encourage my clients with that too, of like, what's the information that needs to be in the graphic or the information that can live in the caption or like surrounding data, right? So even if you're on Facebook too, there's a lot more option there to add information around it so that like clarifies your design a lot more. And just encourages like messaging clarity and just focus for that. So I always encourage you to try and think through that. So maybe this isn't the best part. Maybe we change this into like, I don't know. Well, maybe we do our local national park services so people know that this is from a national park. Local national park services. Love that. Cute. Let's do that. And then I think that's good for that one. All right, let me make sure we're aligned correctly. My align panel is shrunk all the way down there. Okay, cute. As is, stamp next to type. David has spoken and we will say yes. That sounds great. Park Ranger Dave. Okay, that's cute. I really like this. I really like this olive tone we're using too. Retro style, it definitely is. Okay, so here we have 3 here. And then, so because this is a 1080 by 1350, you have to be conscious also of like how this is going to crop in, right? So because Instagram right now is like, you can do this size, but it'll crop into a square. That's something we should be careful of. So maybe this does need to drop down to that 1 line so it doesn't get cut off on like the main feed, or maybe you're not too concerned about that and that's okay. So that would just be something that I say like keep in mind and definitely test with your client and see what's important with them. Loving this. So then let's also look at how we would scale these up. So what I would do again is I would just copy the artboard here. Also, we did not name this one. We're going to name this one like Polaroid. Polaroid 1080 by 1350. So we're going to copy this one and then we're going to change the artboard size. So we're going to go up here. So we're going to keep the same width, right? But we're going to jump this up to 1920, which is the size of that. Okay, loving this. Gorgeous. Okay, and then we're going to scale this background up. So this will be on stories and then just kind of resize all this kind of stuff. Wow, guys, it's almost 9:40. We are just flying through this. Social media has done us well today. Okay. Maybe we won't redo all of these since you kind of get the idea. And then I would encourage this to ask your client, like maybe we're going to have, I'm just going to put like a placeholder here now, but maybe this is going to have like the little like buy now tag, right? Or like link to the store or something like that. So I would just keep in mind as you're designing for like each platform, it doesn't look like that. It's like a little more square. As you're designing for each platform, what are the other like capabilities that that platform has and how can your design marry the two of those together well? So like let's leave room for that so we can tag it and link it out, or let's leave room for extra copy, or does your client want to be able to like add copy on here day of? Like I work with some local coffee shops and they're like, hey, if this graphic looks great, but we're going to probably need to change it depending on what ingredients we have available that day. Can you plan around that? And so that's something that you should be mindful of as you design these things. So let's leave it like that. And then I would do the same thing over here. So we'll just size this one up. Gorgeous. Oh no, I overlapped it. I did something wrong. So if you overlap it, when you drag the artboard, it sometimes will pull the copy from the other one. So let's drag that down more. 1920, love it. Same thing, we're gonna scale up our background. Love this. And now we don't have to be worried about the crop, so we can make this even bigger if we wanted to. Stories, I always like go back and forth. I'm like, should I make it bigger? Do I leave it small? And then let's make sure everything is centered, which it should be because we didn't change the size. Yeah, okay, love that. And then we'll do this one as well. So cute. Okay, 1920. There she is. Okay, love the olive. I know this color's really fun. All right. And that can stay right there. And then this also, when I'm designing for Instagram stories, I like to think too about the top, right? So like your icon or like your name is up here, right? And this kind of is spoken for, so I try and keep that open. And then down here as well with the comments, I try and keep that open as well. And not that you can't have design there, but I would just be careful that it's not like important information or something that like everyone needs to see. So that is looking good. I'm loving that. Okay. And let's do one that's just like type-based, right? So we did a lot of this like poster, same. So I don't know why I did that. Let's just copy it so it's a little easier. Delete all of this. And then I liked our little like take a hike. I think that's cute. Or let's take a hike. It seems friendlier. What color have we not used? Maybe we'll use the dark gray or like the dark green color. Let's click there. Cute. All right, let's take a hike up Mount Rubidoux. Okay. Cute. So let's pull in this little stamp. I think that's a really cute idea here. Maybe we'll make that the light. Let's inverse it here. Cute. And then we also have these little guys to work with. So I'm gonna pull in these. I think these could be really fun. And so this will definitely be for like more messaging based content. And I also could see this working really well. Actually, let's design this one since we are at 40. Let's design this one in Adobe Express so we can just highlight this a little bit. So we are going to choose a solid color background. I'm going to pull this in from here. So I'm going to take the hex code. So I'm going to copy this here, come here, and then paste it into here. Love that. And then I think our typeface was called, let's see. Actually, we'll just copy it in from here because I'm going to distort this a little bit. So let's do this. Let's do effect. Let's go warp and let's flag it like we did the other ones. That's cute like that. I don't think that's too wavy. It might be a little wavy. Let's pull back. Don't want to make people motion sick here. Okay, love that. Let's space it out a little bit. Maybe let's do like 25. And then I'm going to just add a little bit. What I'm envisioning to give you the long game here is I'm thinking that maybe we're going to add these in like little stickers around it. I think that could be kind of cute. I feel like you get stickers when you like go do, you know, maybe it's like Girl Scout badge type vibe. I'm thinking like little icons for it, but I think that could be cute. So let's outline this. So we're going to create outlines, right click like that, or you can do Command Shift O, which I've been using more of. And to get rid of this outline, I think you could leave it, but for me, I like to expand the appearance. So let's copy that. Flag text makes it feel breezy. Yes, we're keeping in that spring summer vibe here. So I just highlighted it, Command copy, and then I'm going to come over here, Command V, and paste it in, which is nice. So now it's going to be an object for me. So I don't know the text abilities. Actually, I haven't tried to warp text outside of Illustrator. I kind of stick to what I know or what I feel the most comfortable with. So I would just do it that way, but you can do it other ways. And then we'll go ahead and pull these in as well. So let's get this guy going in here. Whoa, she's giant. All right, let's scale this down a little bit. Maybe let's bring this to the front. Like that. Okay. Love the layers. Or maybe it overlaps actually. I lied. Let's do it on top. Maybe it's too big there though. Let's do it here. Love that. Okay, and then let's get this little orangey guy working because I feel like that's very Riverside, but let's see. So if we have this color, maybe it's the lighter green. Don't love. Not terrible though. But maybe let's fill in, let's delete the rind, or the peel, I guess. Or is that like too watermelony? It's a little watermelony. Maybe we'll just round everything. Well, for the sake of time, yeah, we'll just delete this little guy out. And then let's be very orangey orange here. Okay. A very limey orange, I guess. Okay, we're just gonna paste that in here as well. Love that. And then I kind of liked what was happening here with like, is it weird that it's an oval? I feel like maybe it's fun because it's like not quite the same as that, or does it look really odd? I don't know. What do you guys think? That's a lime. Yeah, I know, sorry. Okay, maybe we shouldn't do the citrus as green. Okay, the lime will go. Goodbye, lime. We'll just go with more type. Yeah, we all agree. The citrus is a lime. And that is really a good question to be asking yourself of, does this look like what I want it to? Which is very important to be honest with yourself and with your designer. Because chances are if you're thinking it, someone else is probably thinking it. Okay, so let's use this full orange. I feel like that maybe we could get away with, maybe we'll just make it white. So I'm gonna do object expand again to make this into a shape, not just paths. And then I'm gonna combine these paths here in the Pathfinder. Love this. And I'm gonna group this and let's make this white. I feel like that'll complement. Or actually our text is white, isn't it? Oops. Okay, let's make this the light yellow. It's gonna be a lemon. That's tough, guys. What do we do? Let's make everything then the same color and hopefully that will just be a pass. Oval looks like an orange low-key. Oh, that's true. Maybe we just break our brand palette right now and use orange even though it like wasn't originally in our brand palette. It was yellow, but maybe that's fine. Okay, I think the type on this, so I did a type on a path. Let me walk you guys through that really fast. So I did like an ellipse like this, and then I did type on a path and clicked on here. And now we're in a script, which is absolutely wild. It's giving lasso, it's giving like a rope. So that's kind of how I did this one. And then made sure it's aligned correctly like this. And before I'm gonna pull this out, maybe we'll like move these. Oh, I actually did an oval. They're on the same path. Okay. Let's add little like dots in here. Just some kind of like identifier of like, hey, these are two separate words. Love that. And before I pull this out of a program, I definitely am going to outline it. Something doesn't look quite right here. Let me see. There you go. So definitely you want to make sure that these like guides are like in the right place, but always give it like the once over. And if it looks off, I definitely say adjust it, because there could just be something going on with like the shape of the letter, right? Like an A looks different than the R, like with how it arches. So it could be that. So definitely give it the once over, make sure she's all good. And let's create outlines for this as well. Command Shift O, I'm gonna copy this together, Command G, Command C, lots of commands here, and we're gonna paste this guy in here. It's kind of fun. Okay, I'm gonna scale this down a little bit, rotate her, love it. Okay, maybe these are a little big. Maybe we're gonna say green, I lied. Okay, let's make it green. She's green. We're just doing really monochrome today, and I'm okay with that. I feel like that's fun. Okay, and let's do maybe a little smaller so she doesn't compete too much. Maybe, okay, maybe we'll do the orange below the letters. How about like that? So that one will be below, give us a little layer here, make sure everything's centered. I like it over the E so we can read Riverside, but maybe not everything should be over it. Let's do that. Okay, so this would be our little social media graphic, and say we love it and she's great. One of the best features I think of Adobe Express is that you can schedule things out. So let's make sure that this one's saved, because it will not work. It's still saving. Okay, it's saved. So now that it's saved, you can see over here there's this little schedule thing. So we're going to click this. So I am a personal account, so it's a little bit different, but I'm going to click here on Instagram and say, hey, let's like share it there. I think there's different options if you are a business account, but just because I am, now you know. And let's schedule it for this weekend. Like, let's launch this weekend, and let's launch at, I don't know, what time are people up on the weekend? 9 a.m. Sounds great. Here's our media. And then let's take a hike. Whoops. Take a hike this weekend together at Mount Rubidoux. Tag a friend below who you'd like to go with. Okay, so then that would be our post, and then you could go ahead and preview that if you would like. So let's see. Woo! So then it'd be my handle. Follow along if you'd like. There's my handle. I don't know why my icon's not popping up, but that would be our little graphic, which looks so cute. And then here would be our little caption as well. So then you could just schedule this out. So say it looks great. We'll say yay, and click schedule. And then it's going to jump on here, and now we can see where all of our posts are. So what's great about this is that it kind of combines like the type A, type B, kind of everything in one place for you. So you can make your content, make sure it looks great, and then make sure that it's going to get posted correctly. And this is a really good place to interface to with clients. So if they want to look through here and move things around or change it up, this is a great place for you both to be able to look at it together and then not have to worry about it. So that's a really great feature that we like about Adobe Express. So that was awesome. And then if you want to download this too, you can do that. So let's download that. And then that way I could pass that off to my client. Oops. Command V as well, so my client can have a copy of that in case we just want to keep it for records or something like that. So it's my downloads. I'll just pull it into here, and we'll make a new folder for social media assets. Yeah, also, so if you guys want to learn more about scheduling in Adobe Express, the next stream after this one ends is all about scheduling in Adobe Express. So stick around and pay attention for that, because they're going to go into that way more than just that quick little preview, but that's just the teaser for you. Okay, so that would be this guy. We'll just delete that one for now since we already did it. And then let's get these ready. Let's double check our name. So this is going to be 2 poster, but we're going to change the size. 1920, this one as well. 1920. And I like them to like have the same name, so that way when we're looking at them, like when we refer to it, you don't have to be like 6 different names. You could just be like the Polaroid feed size or Polaroid story size. That's kind of how I like name mine. Oh, this one says copy. Let's get that out of there. Great. Okay, so if these all look good, which they do, let's export them. I always like to export my work before I pass it off to my, or like before I even like close out and save everything, which also I don't think I've saved. Let's go ahead and save that. Let's save it on my computer. At Rubidoux Social, good. We named it correctly. It's in the right folder. Love that. I like to do a double check once I export it, because sometimes something on the artboard looks good, but then when you look at it elsewhere, you're like, that looks kind of crazy. So I'm gonna export these as JPEGs into here. And then we have social media assets. I love that. We're just gonna do all of them. We can sort them afterward. Use artboards, all great, export. Let's do 150. Technically, I think 72 is the correct answer, but I usually do a little bit higher just in case. Social media assets. And look, we all made it in here. So let's preview these. I'm just pressing preview to look at these together. So let's just make sure like, hey, does our alignment look good? Does the scale look good? And then sometimes I'm like, okay, oops, sorry. If I scale this down, does that look normal on my phone? Like, does that look too small? And be like, okay, no, I think that looks good. So let's go through and just like look at all of them. That looks good. Sometimes here you'll notice like that one, I feel like that's too close to the edge. Like it felt good in Illustrator, but maybe in real life that's like pretty close. So I'm gonna come back in here, whoops, and I'm gonna highlight all of these and I'm gonna scale them down. So I highlighted everything and I'm gonna hold Option Shift, grab the corner and then pull it back in together. Let's like that. Yeah, see, you don't notice it, I feel like when you're working on it, but then when you look at it after, you're like, that's way too big. Same with this actually. This might be too big. Maybe we'll just scale it back a little bit. Oops, not the background. Scale it, and let's move these up a little bit. Okay, that feels a little bit better. So let's re-export. Let's make sure these are artboards. So we have artboard 6 and 3. So let's export those. Export as JPEG, and then it was 6 and 3, I believe. So let's see here, and then it should be like, you're gonna replace these. Yep. So yeah, do you want to replace these? If you didn't, you don't have to, but since I'm like, I'm pretty sure I made the right changes, I'm gonna click replace, and that just keeps your files a little bit cleaner, I think. And I don't think it's updated yet. So let's look at these ones. That looks good. Obviously, I would not keep this white box in here. That's definitely def for reference and maybe showing the client like, hey, this is where I put that. Okay, I think this looks great. This looks awesome. Okay, yeah. And then that definitely scaled down already. So that looks so much better. And let's scale it down again. See, yeah, much better. Because I think before it looked too tight and you don't want to have that. And then if you want to as well, you could sort these either by like style 1, right? So maybe like these go together, or depending on your client, maybe they want feed. And it depends definitely on like your client's familiarity, I think, with social media and their comfort level. And this would be stories. And then I would just sort these by size, right? And so then as I pass these off, I'd be like, hey, okay, I sorted everything. Usually I do it by size because they tend to go and post those and schedule those differently. Sorry for that noise a million times. Go ahead and delete that. And then I would just keep that, and then I would pass that off as like a zip file. So wow, everyone's gonna meet at Mount Rubidoux. Guys, when are we gonna meet at Mount Rubidoux? We could schedule that on our social media. Okay, we're getting rid of the lime. All right, this is looking good. Wish we were here. Oh, we didn't do wish we were here. Okay, maybe we'll do one really fast. Let's see if we can make it happen. Let's also go back here and make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, maybe the coordinates would be kind of fun. Elevation, shoot. Okay, let's try that. Let's turn this background, maybe the light blue or the darker blue, light blue. Love that. Let's talk about how, yeah, elevation and like what a challenge this height is going to be. Or actually, let's make this the dark green. Awesome. Scale this up. Maybe we'll like add a little space in here. Maybe the orange gets to come live in there. That could be kind of cute. Where's our orange friend? Here he is. So yeah, today I hope you learned a little bit more about like how I would approach social media and then the abilities of Adobe Express. There's definitely 2 great workflows you can work through with that. And depending on your interface with your clients or your personal availability and workflow, I think there's definitely great options there. So tomorrow we're going to be doing print and mailer. So this is really exciting. Tomorrow we're going to be working on doing Adobe, what's it called, InDesign and data merging information with that. So this is going to be good for like badges for a conference or direct mailers for people, anything where you're using a lot of data and you don't want to be laying something out a million times. That's definitely the best way to go about this. So catch me tomorrow to walk you through that. So we're going to be, yeah, designing a little postcard. So maybe that'll be like the wish you were here postcard. I think that could be cute. And then we're going to be merging that with a bunch of information. So that's probably going to look at like address, people's names, all fictitious, obviously, and maybe information too, depending on if they live in a certain area. So we'll be doing that. And then I think we'll be doing a parking pass as well, and just showing again how you design something, put it into InDesign, and then data merge that, and how it's going to export like however many you have. So maybe we'll do like 25 people or something, because that's going to save you a lot of time in your workflow. And it's something that I learned from one of my friends, and that really helped me out in my life and my design time. So that's something I really want to share with you guys. That'll be tomorrow. And then on Friday, we'll be doing a email campaign for everything. So that's going to be putting it all into one place, all of our messaging, all of our marketing, and making this like the best campaign, the most believable campaign that you've ever seen. So that's kind of the plan for the rest of the week. And then, yeah, stay around after the stream, which should be ending really soon, actually. For Adobe Express, we're going to go through scheduling, and they have a lot of exciting things in store for you guys. So thanks for jumping in today, and then join me tomorrow, 9 to 10, same place, same time, same person. Hopefully you're in chat. Really looking forward to it. But thanks for hanging out today, you guys. And then, yeah.